on this computer. Awesome, we're recording. All right, guys, welcome. Thanks for joining Sarah and I for this webinar today. Anytime Sarah and I can team up, I love it. I think it's super beneficial for you guys because she has a lot of great insights and stuff that she does a little different from me. And, you know, as we all do things are a little bit our own way, not necessarily there is a wrong way, but Sarah and I don't do the wrong way, but we may do things a little bit different. So you'll get a couple of different perspectives and feel free, should be interactive. So throw questions in the chat. Danielle will fill those. If you guys don't mind, make sure your mics are off just in case there's any background noise in anyone's house or whatever that doesn't come through. We will do a Q&A and save some time for that so that we can field questions, and we'll have mic on. And I love it if you turn cameras on too. Love to see your guys' beautiful faces. But ultimately, thanks for joining us. I'm Joel Black. I'll do my little intro. I've been in the bar and catering event world for 12 years. This April, my business turned 12. It's almost a teenager. It feels like it's an adult. I've already shooted out of my house, to be honest. So I've been managing Black Lab events remotely for 3 years. The business is based in Los Angeles. I live in Colorado, which a lot of people are like, how the hell can you run an event company, 2 states away, thousands of miles away? And honestly, systems, team, and that's it. Systems and teams. You can't do it unless you don't have a great team. I'm fortunate. My production manager has been with me for 10 years. My sales manager has been with me for 11 years. I've got bartenders that have been with me for 5, 6, 7 years, plus my leads. So I have built up over the years. It took probably 6, 7, 8 years to kind of get the business to the point where it didn't need me to be at every event. And then now to the fact that I'm probably, if I go to the event, I'm in the way. So yeah, I moved to Colorado to start E-Cinch in 2019. Into 2018, I moved here and I launched E-Cinch on my website in 2019. And I originally just developed it for myself. I wanted a platform that would keep me from having to do proposals, because that was the biggest pain point in my business and had been for a very long time. But I just, didn't know any alternative. And so I decided to create an alternative way of doing things. And that's how I kind of got into the software game. And for any newbies out there getting into the bar business, I get a lot of people that say, hey, I've never even been in the bar business. I've never done this. And I say, well, so what? Learn. I've never started a software company before, and look at us now. We've got over 300 users in 5 countries, and I just hired Danielle as our Chief Experience Officer, who's moderating this call. Danielle's worked at Cisco, Google, most recently at Facebook, where she left Facebook to come join our crazy little startup because she's a crazy little woman who likes a challenge and wants to help build a great product. And the reason I hired her as Chief Experience Officer, because I think it's my hospitality background and my need to be of service. And I know that with software, a lot of the difficult, especially for non-tech savvy people, which not too long ago, I would have considered myself a non-tech savvy person. I want to make sure that our customers win with our software and that they have that support. So the first full-time position I hired was someone just to maintain that role. And Danielle is awesome at it. As Emily said earlier, she deserves a raise already, but she's, she just started. So we're not going to have one not now, but very soon. Anyway, so that's my background. Been in the events world forever, created this system to help me kind of turn clients quicker and make the booking easier. I will pass it to Danielle just to give a quick intro on herself, and then I want to pass it to Sarah, and then we'll jump into this this mock sales call. Danielle.
Thanks, Joel. Hi, everybody. I'm Danielle. Not much to working with all of you and helping you with all of your accounts. And Sarah, did you want to do any intro opener?
It's possible that people don't know who I am, so I'll add myself to the spotlight here. I'm Sarah Murphy. I am the owner operator of Mobile Bev Pros and the lead educator for the Mobile Bar Academy. And I have insane passion for optimizing this entire industry, making it easy to succeed in this industry and making it easy for people to build empires in this industry. And Joel is a major component of that. I've stumbled upon his software I had
It's barely a
one-on-one
software
coaching.
platform.
What was that?
Sorry.
Yeah, it was one of my coaching clients mentioned that she was using it on the back end. And if you know me, I love software. And I was like, you're using what is this called? And as she shared it with me, I immediately looked it up. I immediately got in touch with Joel. I was like, I need inside this. I need my fingers all up in it because I saw the potential. And the one thing that Joel has been absolutely fantastic at is taking feedback and just really being open to wanting to optimize this for the industry and just as a whole, not just mobile bars, but like as an optimized piece of software that can help people who have complex pricing models such as ourselves. We're not the only industry that has complex pricing models, but we are a big one. And there's a lot of other industries out there that people are already serving. So Dubsado and Honeybook, like they're really good for photographers and for coaches and for florists even. And so, the massive amounts of power that E-Cinch has to help people like us package and price our services in a way that scales and protects our margins. Anyone who spent any amount of time with me knows that I sing the praises of E-Cinch. And that doesn't mean that it's like plug and play and you just like, it's the miracle worker, right? Like you have to understand it and you have to know how to sell it and have to know how to use it. And that's what today's all about, is for us to get you guys familiar, like an inside look as to like how it can change the conversations that you have with your clients in a way that takes it away from, I can't do that, or like, let me check to see like what the cost would be if you increase the rates or if you like whatever, right? Like this takes away all of that. And so I'm excited to get started, and I will play the client.
You are the client. Awesome. Yeah, we're super excited to have Sarah. And Sarah, as you know, Danielle's been busy redesigning the whole front end user experience. I'm super excited to show you that. I look at E-Cinch right now as the tip of what we're building. And we've got a lot of cool stuff in the works to continue to like create a better customer experience for your clients, to create a better experience for you as the service provider, to farther protect margins. We've got a minimum package feature that's about to come out soon. That's going to be again, just another way to make sure you're always getting the money you want, regardless if someone puts in an inquiry for 10 people for 2 hours. Like, hey, I'll do a 10-person 2-hour event as long as they hit my $1,000 minimum. Fine by me. I'm going to make a lot of extra money on that event because a lot of the minimum is just going to be profit, right? So that's one thing, is like a lot of people are like, oh, I only do 3-hour or 4-hour events. And I'm like, why? Like you won't do a 1-hour event if you're going to make charge the same price for a 3-hour event? Like that doesn't make any sense. You're about to make a lot more money. So I try to encourage people to like, don't put yourself in a package box. With E-Cinch, you can, really create packages that scale based on any head count, any length of event, and be open to taking events of all shapes and sizes. I also want to say on this call, if you don't have E-Cinch and you have no care to get E-Cinch, that's fine. You're still going to learn stuff on this call. I try to make these webinars not salesy and more educational. Of course, there's a sales factor because I've got this company and I'm trying to promote it. But ultimately, again, it's just me being in hospitality my whole life. I want to be of service to you. So regardless if you're a current client, going to be a client, don't ever want to be a client, that's fine. Stay on, check out what we have to offer. Feel free to hit me up anytime as a resource. Either way, I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. That's kind of our vision for E-Cinch, is just to be of service. And that's the type of culture I'm trying to build around the company. So I'm going to go ahead and throw my screen share on. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to give you kind of like a little bit of back end setup of what I do to get ready for these meetings. So first, let me give you kind of the setup of where we're at in the process. So Sarah's come to my website and she has already saved an E-Cinch package. So she's come here. I'll just kind of give you guys a sneak peek at kind of what the front end looks like. She's put in her event information. She's put in her, head count, start time, end time, all of this stuff, press save. And then she's come and she's found this package. That's my example marketplace. Most of our clients would only have like 1 to 3 packages in their marketplace, but we have a lot of different styles of packages. And then she's come here and she's worked her way through building her bar package and all that. So we've already done all of that. This is all done. She's submitted a proposal and now I'm ready to talk to her. And so one great thing about E-Cinch is I don't talk to people until they've submitted a proposal to me, because that validates that they're good for at least, whatever price my minimums are, and that they're comfortable with my pricing. That's the first thing I need to get checked off of the box, is that they're a good fit for me. And I don't want to have to do a proposal, send that out to them and wait to see if they're a good fit for me, because that's a huge waste of my time. So I want my clients to come to my website, save a package, and pre-qualify themselves. Now, there are scenarios with event planners that I work with regularly. Well, they'll call me up and just say, hey, Joel, I've got an event going on. Can you pull a quote for me real quick? And on the call, I'll just go to my own marketplace, come in, go to my own marketplace, put in the event information while I'm on the phone with them, and do a proposal in real time. So there are a few different ways you can work with E-Cinch. Sometimes you may be doing the proposal for the client if they call or email you and you already know that they're qualified because they've worked with you before, or they come through your website and they save their own quote. Regardless, you saw how quick it was for me just to throw in this information, pull up a package, and then go through and create this proposal in a matter of, under a minute, once you're familiar with the product and your packages and all of that. So there's, like Sarah was saying, it's not just putting this on your website and it's a magic bullet. I build E-Cinch into my brochure, into my nurture emails, into every aspect of my sales funnel, so that I'm reinforcing what I want the client to do. Because trying to get clients to do things sometimes is like herding a bull in a china shop. It can get messy if you don't know what you're doing, but it is possible to get them pointed in the right direction and get them to do what you want to do. But you have to build systems that support what you're trying to do. And oftentimes you want to feed the material into them in multiple ways. So they can come to my website here and get a quote here. But also when I do a follow-up nurture email, I give them a link to my brochure, and guys, your brochure should essentially just be a mini version of your website, right? Nice cover photo, our philosophy, some big clients that we've done events for, some pretty cocktails, and then my packages, and I like to give pricing indicators. So once you become a veteran, your mindset sometimes shifts from like, I just want to weed out the bad, versus when you're first getting started, a lot of people are like, I don't want to lose a single lead, which is honestly a weaker mentality to have. Because if you do events that, don't make you a lot of money, what's the point? To get the experience? Okay, maybe. And that's fine for maybe a month or two or 6 months of being just in business, getting experience, getting photos. But eventually you want to make good money. It's a lot of work doing events, and you want to make good profits. So I prefer to keep my packages at a more expensive level and weed people out. But there's also with your system, if when you're starting, want to keep your packages a little less inexpensive to not scare as many people away, and you're willing to be a little bit more flexible, you can do that as well, and then let people upsell. But again, website, brochure, nurture emails, everything is built around the sales platform that I use, which is E-Cinch, to get people to do what I want them to do. So that's important. All right, let's go back into here. So now at this point, Sarah saved a package. I've integrated E-Cinch into my Dubsado account. And so once she saved that package, it created this project, and it put this project in a schedule consultation phase, meaning I need her to schedule a consultation. So we're pretending like she came here, she clicked this, she scheduled a meeting with me, got it all set up, got her time, and now here we are on the meeting. The other thing I'll say is every email that I need to send, and I'm going to go back here real quick, to work a client through the lead funnel and then into the sales funnel is automated. Because, being in business a decade, I know exactly what needs to be said to get the client to move to the next step. That being said, I've got a big surprise, a freebie giveaway for you guys at the end of this. So make sure you guys stick around, or if you have to go, like, watch the recording and watch till the end, because I do got a really cool giveaway everyone's going to get that has to do with building all of this out and all of the emails that you need. And it's a pretty high value item that I'm giving for free, that I've literally spent over a decade figuring out the best way to do it. So stay to the end, or if you leave, watch the video to the end so that you get the link to download the giveaway. All right, so I'm going to come back here to Sarah, who's in schedule consultation phase. Where is she at? There you are. And so the first thing I'm going to do before I get on this meeting with her is I'm going to come here and I'm going to look at the proposal and see what she saved. So she's got a cocktail bar service, the trailer bar, 2 bartenders in the bar back for $3,100, almost $3,200. Looks good to me. 100 people, 6-hour event from 4 to 10 on the 27th. Okay, cool. Looks good to me. I'm going to come back here, look at my notes. Not really anything there. She said, I have an upcoming event and would love to learn more about your services. All right, cool. So now I've educated myself on where she's at and what she's done so far. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my E-Cinch account. I'm going to go to my carts. She's going to be the very last one. Here she is. And I'm going to open up the package that she saved. Now, this is where I want to start. So at this point, you ready, Sarah, for your big debut? The client's coming on the call. Sarah's just got on the Zoom, and action. Hey, Sarah, thank you so much for your time today. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to talk about my party.
Awesome. We're excited to learn more about your party. With that, do you mind just giving me like a kind of a brief overview of like what you're planning, what you're trying to accomplish, just so I can navigate this call and custom tailor it towards your needs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm turning 40.
Woo!
Excited. Yep.
Yeah, I'm turning 40 next year. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I was pregnant for my 30th birthday. And so that was no fun for me, drinking wise. And so we're going all out on my 40th.
All right. So a big 40th bash. Awesome. And it looks like you're expecting 100 guests right now. Is that correct?
I'm optimistic. We'll see
Okay.
who actually is willing to show up for my big 40. But yeah, 100 is like what I would like to, like, that would be the high end. And so
Okay.
do I need to know that now, or like, is that
No,
something-
you're all good. Honestly, like this first proposal in this first meeting, I look at as a starting point. You know, obviously guest count may change. You may need to adjust your time. It looks like you haven't got an exact venue yet. I just see that you're planning your party somewhere in LA. So anything over the planning period can change. We'll update this package as those changes come in. If the head count goes down, you know, the price per person will drop, and the final bill will reflect your actual head count, your actual event duration, and all of that stuff. Cool?
Okay, cool. Yeah, that
Awesome.
worked.
Cool. Go ahead.
I was just wondering, did this quote include alcohol, or I couldn't tell. I could see it said like pour service, but I wasn't sure if that meant like the booze was included or not.
Great question. Yeah, this does not. So we're a dry hire bar, which means you got to provide your own alcohol. The benefit to that is you can go get it from like, you know, a big retailer like Total Wines. You'll pay less for it. And if you decide to book with us, we'll help you put the order together.
Nice.
Even on this call, I can give you an idea of what the order will be.
Okay.
And we'll make sure that, you know, you purchase everything that we need. And I know that Total Wines and Bevmo in California deliver, so you can, you know,
Nice.
set it up to deliver, so you don't have to go lug a bunch of booze around and things like that.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll provide the insurance, the liquor liability insurance, all of that stuff, so that your party's covered, and God forbid, if there are any accidents, you know, you'll be covered by our insurance. All of our staff are covered with workers' compensation. So if they get hurt, they're covered. You don't have any exposure to any liability working with Black Lab events. But the only thing is, yeah, we just don't provide the alcohol, but we'll handle everything else, and we'll make sure that you providing the alcohol is as easy as possible.
Awesome. I did see that you guys cover like the napkins and the straws and the cups and everything. But I've been talking with my event planner, and we are probably going to rent glassware. So
That's
is
fine.
that something you pull out of the package, or how does that work?
We don't. So our packages are preset because we want to make sure that if you run out of glassware, we have disposable cups there. You obviously still will need straws and napkins and ice and everything like that. So all of these packages have you covered. A lot of our clients will do self-serve water stations and use disposable cups for that, just to help keep the cost down on the glassware rentals. And just to let you know, we do offer glassware rentals. So if you want us to coordinate that and bring that with the bars and everything else, we can add that to your order right now. Would you like me to add that for you?
So I'm looking specifically for Jupiter glasses. Do you guys work with a rental company that has those?
I'm sure I can find them. I'll need to find them, price them, and add them to the system. How about
Okay.
for now, we just put an order in for basic glassware just to kind of let you get that budgeting going and see how much it costs. Generally, glassware is usually around the same price. Some of the fancier glassware can get a little bit more expensive, up to like $2, $2.50 a piece. But we can definitely help like source that, and
Awesome.
I'll find pricing and photos and get that added to our system for you.
Awesome.
Cool. So let's just go ahead and do a basic glassware setup, which double old fashioned, highball, wine glass. Did you want to have champagne at your event?
Yes, please.
Okay, we'll add in some flutes. Do you want to have any type of martinis? And here's I'll just give you my 2 cents. I hate martini glasses for events. They spill easy. They're not fun to carry around. So I try to encourage my clients to put all their specialty drinks in double old fashions or highballs, and then obviously have the wine and flutes for the wine and champagne. But it's completely up to you. If you want to have them there, just in case, we could throw on like 20 martini glasses for, in case anyone wants a traditional martini or like something served up like a Cosmo. What are your thoughts?
I hate myself for what I'm about to ask. Can I, what if I wanted to do like a champagne tower?
A champagne tower. We do those all the time. No, it's totally cool. They're fun to do. They create a spectacle. A lot of our clients like to do them for like if you're going to do toasts, like birthday toasts, we'll do them right before the toast. But we would use the coupe glasses for those so that we can stack them. We do recommend keeping the towers to like 60 glasses, like 40 to 60 glasses. You don't really need to do a 100-glass tower. You're going to waste a bunch of champagne. Not everyone wants to drink champagne, but we can certainly add on. What do you think? Like a 40, 50 glass tower?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's perfect.
We'll do a 50-glass tower for now. So that covers half the gas. And then when we're putting your alcohol order together, we'll need to remember that we're going to have extra champagne for this tower.
Okay. Yeah. And we can probably get rid of the main champagne flutes because I think people
yeah, that makes
with
sense.
whatever they have.
Perfect. Okay. All right, perfect. And then I saw just real quick on the basic service package, you have the cocktail bar service. And just so you know, this comes with 2 classic cocktails. We have our classic cocktails over here that you can select from. We won't have you upcharge them because they're included. Okay. Does that sound okay? Or would you like to go ahead and add some signature cocktails on in addition to the 2 classic cocktails?
No, I think the 2 classics are probably fine.
Okay, cool. Just to let you know.
Can I add those on later?
Yeah, absolutely. Think about it. Like if you want to sit down with your husband, you guys can log back into this account at any time. If you didn't create your own account when you saved your cart, I'll send you an email after this call, and there'll be directions on how to create your own E-Cinch account so you can get back to the saved proposal and make edits and sit down with anyone that you want to have input. I will say though, our specialty cocktails are what guests rave about. So I would highly consider adding at least 1 or 2.
Okay.
The Tipsy Jalapeno is featured in People magazine for Julie Benz's wedding. The Refresh Time has been featured in Angelino. We've had write-ups for our cocktails in Martha Stewart. So this is like really what we're known for and kind of what sets us apart from everyone else. So just something for you to consider.
Awesome.
Cool. And then the other thing I just want you to be aware of is with the cocktail bar service versus the full bar service, this is only going to support beer and wine, the champagne tower, and then the 2 classic cocktails. And then like the soft drinks cover like, vodka, soda, Jack and Coke, anything like that. Okay. But if you want to have like the option to make margaritas and daiquiris and mojitos, like a full bar experience, that's the full bar service. because this comes with the mixers that we would need to make pretty much all the classic cocktails, lemon, lime, grapefruit, OJ, simple syrup, bitters, that type of stuff. Are you cool with just having the bar be limited, or do you want to offer that full bar experience to your guests?
It's a really good question, because at first I was like, well, maybe we'll just do a signature instead of the classics. But if we can just do like, I mean, a mojito and all that stuff, like that's amazing. Yeah, let's do the full bar.
You an upgrade? Okay, cool. That's only a couple bucks extra per person. So I mean, really for an extra $200 to elevate the experience for your guests, like they're coming to like a speakeasy in New York or LA, like, you know, it's definitely a nice value add at an affordable price. So cool. All right, and then we offer some additional services. Some of our guests like to do self-serve beverage stations, either for guest entry or just to have throughout the event. This will help keep the lines off the bar for your non-alcoholic guests, like drinking guests. Is this something that you'd be interested in having?
Yeah, so would this be in addition to the like table service water that the caterer is already providing?
Yeah. So if they're providing water for the food, they're generally just providing that for dinner service. This is a little fancier: spa water, lemonade, and iced tea, and it would be its own station set up, you know, wherever we want in the venue, so that your guests can self-serve and have, you know, the tea and lemonade and spa water option.
Does the spa water come with like, you know, a masseuse?
We could make that happen. If you wanted to in your event, don't challenge me there, Miss Sarah.
Show me the add-on for Sven. Show me the add-on for Sven, the masseuse.
Yeah. So to add an extra 350, it's extra $350. I don't know your full bar budget. Is there like a number you're trying to stick towards? And I'll tell you now, like the part of me using this type of system is about having complete transparency. I'm not here to try to gouge you or get it. Like, I want to create the event that you want at the budget that you want. So you just tell me where we need to be, and then I'll do whatever I can do to get us there.
Yeah, so I want to start by figuring out, like, if I was to like have my dream bar, like what does that look expense wise? And then I can kind of take it back to the event planner and we can kind of go over what, you know, all the other quotes, and then maybe we pull out a few things. But like, this is really helpful for me to see what it would look like if I had my ideal bar, and then I can kind of parse down if necessary.
Okay, cool. Perfect. So we'll leave this on because I think this helps make the dream of event for you.
Yeah.
Sodas we already have in the service package, and that'll support anyone who wants just like a Coke or a Diet Coke as a non-alcoholic option. Do you know if your caterer is going to be doing the coffee and tea station, or would you need us to provide that, or do you even want coffee and tea?
Yeah, I think we're going to skip coffee. I can't imagine going from margaritas to coffee.
Okay, no problem. And the package you selected does come with filtered water that we serve from just a beverage dispenser, its own little station. We'll either put it on the bar top or put it, if you keep the beverage station, then it'll just be there with that. But would you want to have like bottled water for the guests to have as an option, maybe to take home at the end of the night, or just to have bottled water option? Is this something you care about?
No, and we're thinking about doing kind of a reusable water bottle as like a favor, but we want to keep the waste low as possible.
Perfect. On that note, all of our disposables are eco-friendly, just so you know. The straws, cups, they're all biodegradable, eco-friendly products. So we're on the same page with wanting to take care of Mama Earth. And then sorry, fancy ice. Do you care anything about having a fancy ice?
Yes, it's my 40th. Get those sexy cubes on there.
You like the spheres or the cubes?
Let's do the cubes. Four is the structure, the square, and I'm turning 40. So
there you go. You're a mathematical genius there. All right, cool. So we have the cubes on. Awesome. And then you're already doing glassware, so you don't need to worry about tossware. If you decide to switch and you want to do tossware, you can. Not completely eco-friendly. They all are recyclable, but you know, glassware is probably a little bit more eco-friendly. I already told you about the cocktail, so feel free to sit down and go through this menu and pick out any you want. You do get 2 classic cocktails on your menu, so you can think about what that you would want those to be: Moscow Mule, Margarita, Mojito. Completely up to you. If you want some like sparkling cocktails, they're here under the brunch section, even though your event's an evening event, you know, up to you if you want those or not.
Would a bee's knees be considered a classic cocktail?
Say that again.
A bee's knees?
Yeah, that's a classic. Lemon,
Okay.
honey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gin, I think. Gin. Yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I made a bee's knees. Yeah, that we'd consider that a classic cocktail.
Okay.
And if you want a cocktail that's not on our menu, just let us know. I'm yet to be stumped. I've had people ask for black cocktails. We'll use squid ink or powdered charcoal powder. There's lots of things we can do. I'm yet to be stumped. So I like a good challenge. If you see something that if you don't see something on our menu that you like, or there's a cocktail at a restaurant that you eat at that you really like, just send me the ingredients, and I don't even need the recipe. I'll figure out the recipe, but just let me know. And then on the bar, we have our trailer bar, which is awesome. People love this. Not only is it perfect for us to like serve from, but it also creates an awesome Instagrammable moment where people will want to like get the selfies in front of it. So kind of adds to the decor. Did you want to have any type of satellite bars outside of just the trailer bar?
No, I think for 100 people, one is probably enough. Yeah.
Yeah, one's plenty. We'll have 2 bartenders in here, and then the bar back will be in and out, but he's mainly there just to kind of stock the inside of this as needed, and then also to like do the bussing and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Okay, and then we have the glassware already. And one popular add-on a lot of people like is the lawn games. Don't know if you thought about this, but for our 40th, like maybe having cornhole and giant Jenga out, or giant Connect 4, or all 3 could be a lot of fun. I know that guests seem to really enjoy these. What are your thoughts?
Do you have beer pong? No, I'm just kidding.
No, we can do it. In fact, I actually recently saw Prosecco Pong. So it's like big plastic coops with pink balls. And I thought that was really cute, but I can definitely source that if you want beer pong, and we'll just have to have you rent a table for it, but we can bring the cups and the ping pong balls. That's no problem.
No, let's just throw some cornhole on there.
A little cornhole. Okay. And then for your staff, we have 2 bartenders. This you can't change, it's mandatory. We want to make sure that we have enough staff to service the amount of guests you have for 100 guests. And then we have 1 bar back. For your event, if you're going to have the glassware, I'll just tell you now, we need the bar back. Someone has to bus all that glassware. They have to set up a scullery section, and they have to be able to manage that. Even without glassware, with 100 guests doing specialty cocktails in the full bar service, we're going to need that bar back there. Just, you know, you don't want to skimp out and have a dirty event because we didn't have enough staff there. So 2 bartenders and a bar back's where we're at for your event. Does that seem okay to you?
Yes.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you want to have questions about, or that I can help you with right now before I save this package as is?
So yeah, so you mentioned that like I could change the guest count as like RSVPs come in, and that would so when do I need to have final guest count numbers to use so that we can pay the final invoice?
2 weeks prior to the event date. So
Okay.
yeah, the 27th, right around the 14th of August. We'll need all final information in, and we'll need to be paid in full by then as well.
Okay, awesome. That
And
makes
I'll
total
just let you know, and I don't do the high pressure sales thing, but I do only have 1 spot open on your date, and we're booking up like crazy with COVID, you know, happening. We had a bunch of carryovers of postponements on top of everyone wanting to throw 40th birthday parties. So I would try to get us booked as soon as possible. If you're interested in booking us, I can go ahead and send you our contract and the deposit invoice. We require a 50% deposit to book. And
Okay.
then after, you know, once we're 2 weeks out and we have all the changes done, whatever the difference is, will be what's due for the final payment.
Got it.
Would you like me to go ahead and send you that contract so you can get us booked?
Yeah, absolutely. The 50% of like what we've got here, and then if I need to adjust it down, then that'll just come out of the second 50%. Yeah.
Exactly. So right now we're looking at like 23, 40, 150, something like that would be the deposit. And then if, you know, headcount drops to 75, your final payment will be less.
Okay.
And will reflect that headcount. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that. You're gonna get a notification from E-Cinch just saying, hey, we saved this package. You can kind of ignore it. No big deal. I'll go ahead and get your contract prepared and the invoice prepared. And if you have any questions or anything pops up, I'm here for you. I am your bar guru, your guide to spirits and happiness at your party. So don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need anything at all. Cool?
Yeah, absolutely. This was lovely.
Awesome. I'm
Thank you
super
so much.
excited for your 40th. I look forward to
Me
working with
too.
you. So,
Hopefully I don't get knocked up this time.
and scene.
Thanks, y'all.
Awesome. So guys, that's pretty much like a typical sales call for me. A lot of those questions Sarah asked, I think, are pretty typical questions that you'll get. You saw how I'm always navigating things towards giving them the best event possible, right? I did pepper in like, hey, I just want you to know we're completely transparent. So whatever you need, like I'm here to make this event happen. That's a trust building. So on these calls, we're looking to do three things. We're looking to ultimately build trust with the client so that they feel comfortable shelling over thousands of dollars to us, right? We're looking to showcase our experience and the fact that we're a luxury service and that we're the best at what we do, which positions us to justify what we charge. That comes through, you know, having the beautiful images of the cocktails on the site. That comes through just speaking, you know, in an intelligent way when you're fielding the questions. And then that comes through, you notice I peppered in the Martha Stewart, the People magazine, and those things. I tried not to make it braggadocious, but I want to let them know, hey, we're a top player in the game. We've been featured in all these great publications. That's great. If you're new and you're yet to be featured, you know, work on getting that PR as soon as you can. But there's still other things that you can talk about, like your passion for quality ingredients, or you know, your passion for finding the best bartenders that are the highest trained bartenders and work at the best bars in the area. There's a million ways that you can qualify yourself to be the expert, even if, you know, you're new and you may kind of feel like, you know, they call it in the tech world founder fraud, or what's it called, Sarah? There's another name for
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Like, you know, fake it till you make it. That's a saying for a reason for new entrepreneurs. And if you want to close deals, you definitely need to carry yourself in a way like you've done this for 10 years, you know? Sarah, what are your thoughts? What are you, and I know Sarah, your approach has always been, you don't like to do the sales call. For me, oh, sorry, before I pass it to you, the third thing was upsell. So build trust, qualify yourself, and upsell, right? The whole your job is to make as much money for your company as possible. So those are the three pillars of a perfect sales call for me. Build trust, qualify yourself that you're the expert, upsell. All right, now I'm passing to you, Sarah. What are your thoughts?
Well, specifically about kind of what you mentioned, the sales call. And this is just my sense of it. There's a generational component here. And as people that are getting married specifically, and I should mention, like, you do weddings, but you also do a lot more like non-weddings than I think
Corporate
the
events,
vast majority.
Now after COVID, it's about 50-50 for us, but yeah. And on the corporate events, I really don't do sales calls. You're right. In fact, one thing I do want to mention on my email, when someone books me, let's chat about your event. I actually say down here, if you'd prefer to skip the consultation and book us right away, just reply to this email letting us know, and we'll send a contract and invoice over. You don't have to do a sales call. If the client's like, hey, loved it. One example, Patreon, they came onto my site, they saved a package. It's like a $14,000 package for their 300-person office party. And basically I emailed her. I'd found some ways to, my packages have alcohol. So she added a bunch of beers, and I found, I adjusted the quantities on the beer to kind of give her a little less, because she picked so many options just to save her money. I emailed her back, said, hey, thank you so much for inquiring. Would love to work for you. I noticed that you picked out a bunch of beer options. I went ahead and lowered some of the case quantities, save you a little bit of money. Let me know if you're interested in moving forward. And she emailed back like 1 minute later. This is awesome. You are awesome. Let's book. So she didn't need to meet me. The fact that I just saved her a little bit of money and was, you know, not trying to gouge, gave her that confidence without the sales call. It was the easiest 13,000 I've ever made in my life. She booked right away, paid in full. The event was like only a month out. So it was a super easy booking. So yeah, sales calls not always applicable.
Yeah.
Like Sarah.
Yeah, and that was all I wanted to say, is that, you know, there's magic in the sales call. I think you can do a lot of that. The way that if you're going to choose not to do a sales call, right? Because there's a few factors here. One, if you're at an event already and you get somebody who is in your inbox and wants a quote, E-Cinch is going to be able to get them pricing right away. But if they're not going to do the work of actually going around and poking around and they kind of want more hand holding, they're going to go with the person who is able to get to them the fastest, the information that in a way that they can digest it the fastest. And so if you can have an alternative way to look at it, which you did, right? So you had that full PDF. You had the ability for them to see it, not just on E-Cinch, but you had kind of broken down the package options within the PDF, which people are familiar with looking at. There's value there. So if they're like willing to say, okay, I see this in the PDF, I've submitted it on E-Cinch now because you've kind of walked me through that. You don't have to get on a sales call with them because the upselling part that you did, like that's the beauty of the sales call is, one, you can clarify a little bit, right? If I have questions, but two, you can upsell. I'm a big believer that like, you don't need to upsell until after you get them booked. Right.
Yeah,
so like
that's
all
true.
of that thing that you and I did where it's like, well, do you want full bar or like blah, 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 or do you want signature cocktails or blah, 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 right? Like we can do all of that after I have your initial deposit, and then I can upsell you. I can say, hey, like you booked the, standard bar, and now we're talking about different cocktails, but it sounds like you want some more flexibility with this package than the one that you've originally selected, but we can just upgrade you to like the full bar. And that has like mint and honey syrup and all these things. And that covers kind of all the things you're talking about. And also, like, is your caterer providing tables like water or like a water station, right? So you can do all of that after. And so the value of that is you get them booked, and once people have spent money with you, and this is like a known thing, once someone spends money with you, they're way more comfortable spending more money or money again with you, right? So if you can just get them to take that credit card out of their pocket the very first time, it's way easier to get them to spend more money at future times.
I completely agree.
Yeah, so all of that,
and a lot of the same principles in that call, regardless if it's a pre-sales or after sales call, still apply, right? You don't necessarily need to build the trust as much because you've already got their money, so they obviously trust you. But the upselling factor and all of that still definitely applies. And I find, like, especially if it's a confused client, you can eliminate a lot of emails. Like, it's almost faster to take a 10-minute call than to fill the 20 emails they're going to send you because they have questions about every little thing that you could address.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So my purpose of that little rant was just to demonstrate how flexible E-Cinch is, in that like if you don't have time to do a full-on sales call before you get them booked, you can still use E-Cinch in a funnel that does not require you to get on Zoom, does not require you to get on the phone call to get them through the door. And then as you're planning their event, you can still use E-Cinch to easily update their packaging, right? Because it's super easy for you to say, oh, what if I go a little bit longer? Or what if my guest count drops? It's like a few clicks and you're like, boom, here's your new pricing, or here's, what the new package looks like.
Yeah, exactly. So, and again, like with sales and with this, there's a lot of ways to skin the cat. And it's just about like kind of knowing all the ways and being flexible to work with the customer in the way that they want to work, right? Especially if they're like, a high value customer that's going to book or has already booked or whatever. So the one other thing I'll say about my brochure, since you brought that up, is I have E-Cinch plugged into this brochure. So you can see this is hyperlinked, click for pricing. So instead of taking them to my marketplace, oh, it opened up on a window over here. Here it is. I take them to this one particular package that matches up with the package in the brochure. So again, putting E-Cinch in different formats, but still like, it's here and it's in like a PDF. So I say for my older clientele that aren't tech savvy, but they can still come in and then get an exact quote and put in their information and save it. Yeah. So just again,
not even just for older clientele, our brains are conditioned to see things in certain ways. And so we're used to looking at menus. We're used to looking at like PDFs like this, where there's like services, because every other vendor they have is providing the services to them in this format, whether it's their Honeybook or their Dubsado proposal. it looks more like this PDF. So their brain knows how to digest it better than if they're just looking at this marketplace, where like if they were shopping for t-shirts, that would like register more, right? Even though the marketplace is magic because you put in your information once and then you see all the different pricing, right? And that's so super cool.
Yeah, and again, you want to be flexible. So some people may do this, and I get a lot of brides that do it on their own and they love it. Like, oh my God, this is, in fact, I just got a knot review for Black Lab that was like, Black Lab is so awesome. I love how easy they are to work with. And then you may have some people that, like you said, need that hand holding, that you're going to maybe be the one that goes in and builds the package for them in E-Cinch, but you still have a way to do it way faster than any other way. And B, after you build the package, you get them on that sales call once they've either paid or however you want to do it, and be able to have that interface to upsell and to make it palatable. And Danielle has honestly done an awesome, we're kind of turning E-Cinch into more of a wizard style thing, like per Sarah's request.
Begging.
I'm so excited to show you the new design, the new mock-ups that Danielle like literally has finished yesterday. We're doing a technical review on them, and then probably like early next week we'll show those to you. But again, that's another thing with E-Cinch. So I'm always trying to think about how do people want to interact with this? When I first built it, I just knew kind of how I thought I wanted people would want to interact with it, and it's going to progress over time so that we do kind of merge the old way and the new way, and we're providing this information in a way that people are used to absorbing it and that's palatable. So yeah, anyway, I want to make sure we have time for Q&A. We've got about 10 minutes before this ends, so let's go ahead and field questions. Danielle, why don't you pick some interesting questions from the chat and invite the people to come on and ask their question.
Yep. So the first question that we got, how do you answer the question, this other bar gave me a quote for less money for the same exact service?
Hello.
Cool. Who asked that?
Hey there. I'm good. How are you?
Oh, someone needs to be muted.
Oh, yep, I'm handling that. Okay. I'm not sure who asked that. I can look back in the chat and see.
Okay, don't worry. What was the question again? Sorry.
It was Emily who asked it. How do you answer the question like, this other bar service quoted me less money for the same exact service? Like, why are you so expensive? How do you justify your prices?
Yeah, I would say, well, I'm not that other bar company. I don't know where they find their bartenders, how they qualify their staff, how they train their staff. I don't know what level of ingredients they're bringing. I only use fresh ingredients. I'm not bringing like store-bought sweet and sour mix or anything like that. So it's just going to be, for me, I'm always going to justify on quality. And I'm happy to tell people, and this is a weird, and tell me, Sarah, if you agree with this, I think it's a weird mind trick, but I'm happy to tell people, you know what? I feel like, I'm happy. We have plenty of people that are happy with playing our prices. If you need to go with the cheaper option, like, I completely understand. Like, you can go with the cheap guys if you'd like. I'll say that to a client. I don't care. And that, I don't know. Sometimes they're like, well, I don't want to have the cheap guy. I want the best guy. And like, that's me. I'm the best, and you pay for the best. So, they can say like, oh, it's the exact same package, but I would first off, we don't know that it's the same package. Like, most people use store-bought mixers, and they're not like hyper focused on quality and having quality staff. And that's us. So like, I could guarantee you with us, you're going to have an elevated bar experience that people are going to be wowed and like talk about. With the other guys, I don't know, you can roll the dice and save a few bucks and go with them. And I'm happy for you if you do that, and having that kind of like, I don't care mentality, if you go with the other guys, kind of makes them think, man, this guy must be really good. He's very confident. I don't know. That's the way I approach it. What are your thoughts, Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, that is honestly, that's a very, and I mean this energetically, not like gender right. It's a very masculine response, right? Where it's like a fear-based, almost like, yeah, go with the cheap guys. You get what you pay for, right? And that is certainly one way, right? Or you could do the opposite way, which is, like, oh, I totally understand like prices, but I can assure you the way that I price the way that I do because I've done the math, and this is, what I need to charge in order to make this a viable business business so that I can be around for a long term to support my clients. Like I'm not out here, I haven't bought an island. I don't have a boat yet. Like ultimately, like honestly, it's a goal of mine. But these are the prices that I need in order to hire the awesome staff that I have, to use quality, ingredients, to be insured to the level that protects both you and, my business, etc. Right. So my response would be a little bit more of like, I totally understand. You want to make sure that you're getting value for the price that you're paying. And let me assure you, I've done the math on this, and these are my prices because this is what, will keep me in business.
Yeah, and
But
still
even
qualifying the fresh ingredients and the great staff and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no wrong way to do that, right? It really is just like, what are you energetically aligned with? The important thing for both your methodology and my preferred methodology is that we're both confident in our pricing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's confidence. However it comes out, however you sell it, however, you show up and serve that client, it's that you're charging what you're charging because those are your prices. And you're charging that because that's what you need to charge in order to make, not even need, that's what you're going to charge because that's the value you're bringing to the table.
Well,
And so if you can stand in your power there, and like you said, like, they kind of like resonate with the fact that you're super, super confident, and they're like, oh man, this guy knows what he's doing, right? Same, right? They just need to know that like, there isn't wiggle room. They're just pushing it a little bit. And if they ultimately come back to the table and they're like, look, I love you, and this is it's not in my budget. There's no harm feelings, right? Like you're not upset that they couldn't go with you. Like, that in order for you to do what you could do, you charge these prices. And so if they can't afford it, that's okay. Like you get it. I couldn't afford my own wedding.
Yeah. And if they come back that way, if they come back that way, you can also try to give them a lower cost alternative that you still offer. So if they are currently at the full bar and it's coming in too expensive, you could say, well, why don't we downgrade to just the cocktail bar?
Or the beer and wine bar. That's true. The one thing that we don't, and you'll notice that Sarah and I did not say, is we don't say, well, send us that bid and we'll see if we can match it.
Yeah, because I don't care. I don't care at all I did that once, and it was actually like the shittiest event ever, and I kicked myself forever.
Usually those clients too, like take up more of your time. They like have more questions. They're super discerning about every little penny. And then they're going to come back after they've booked you and try to talk you down even more on pricing. And like, for me, that's like, I don't want that headache. Like I would rather let the other guy deal with that person. And I have confidence that I'll find clients that understand the value that we bring to the table and just move on to the next one. Right. So awesome.
Speaking of moving on, I'm going to go to the next question just in the interest of time.
This is dangerous, but to put Joel and I on a Q&A together, oh my God.
I keep waiting.
Guys, we may go a little long I will make sure before we answer another question, let me do the giveaway thing, and then we'll field some more questions. I'm good to go like 10 minutes over if Sarah is. If not, I can stay, and Sarah, you can bounce. But real quick on the giveaway, because I want to make sure everyone has that, is I'm going to drop this in the chat. So basically, my sales automation guide is the giveaway for this webinar. I'm going to drop it in the chat to everyone now. And so what this guide is exactly how I do what I do. It's a 20-page. So you're going to come here and have to give me your email and blah, 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 blah. I'll try not to market to you. If you're a pre-existing E-Cinch customer, we'll make sure you get the guide and then get you out of the automated emails. But it is how a step-by-step guide, 20 pages long, on how I've set up my business. And so I actually, in the past, were doing like website build outs and setting up Dubsado and integrating that all into E-Cinch and building these systems for people. And so I just mapped out, documented what I did. And this is it from E-Cinch setup, best practices, setting up your marketplace, website integration, and then the Dubsado setup, which this can work for any CRM in terms of down here. Contracts, my example contract, can give people ideas. Again, don't just copy and paste my contract and feel like you're bulletproof for your state. Have an attorney or someone with a legal background review it and customize it and make it your own. But I do cover all the main points here. And then the best thing about this, like final event information form, so that I make sure I have all the right info before we go into production. The client signs off on it and says, yep, all this looks good. That whole form's there. and then my workflows. So I think this is the gold of it. So here's my workflows, how they're built, and then the emails that go along with each workflow are all here. And then if you want to do an integration with like your CRM and E-Cinch, you use Zapier to do that. And this is the integration. So anyone who wants that, download it. It's super useful. And then another cool thing that I'm working on, and I'm going to probably launch this later. I want to like work with this on Sarah. I did create an alcohol calculator that actually tells you what spirits and it breaks it down. Now you still have to do assumptions based on popularity of spirit. So it's not perfect, but what I've done here is set it up so I can do 200 people for 6 hours and boom, here's my order. And here's, I just put in average price of these bottles and, here's an estimated breakdown and it's hitting a minimum of 6.5. So it's 1.5 servings per person for the first hour and then 1 serving per person thereafter. And then I set it so it always rounds up. So it's always going to be a minimum of 6.5. So then it breaks the order down and then the actual serving totals are down here at 6.72 servings per person for this event. But this is another thing I'm going to release very, very soon. And these little guides, like the calculator that Sarah has is awesome. And that's a great lead trap. Like I love that thing. However, it sometimes doesn't give you like the full order, where something like this is an internal document. It's not something you would give to your customers. How I use it is I literally just copy and paste this order and send it to the client. So I don't let them have access to this sheet. It's an internal thing only. That's another thing that we'll be passing out soon. So again, if you sign up for the complete sales automation guide, you're now in my CRM and on my list. So when we launch this ordering guide, we'll send that out to everyone. So just make sure you get in our ecosystem so that you get all these cool giveaways that we're working on. But yeah, that's the giveaway you guys got for that. It should be a huge resource for you. With that said, do we still have people in attendance? And
yes, we still have people here, pretty much everybody here, and we still have a handful of questions to go.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
Before we answer, I just want to do the plug for the Mobile Bar Academy.
Oh yeah, please, Sarah, plug away. Thank you.
Just because we're relaunching the entire academy on the 20th of June, but if you join before then, you get current pricing for as long as you're a member. Oh, thanks. Look, you pulled it right up. We've got an entirely new, anybody who's currently a member, because I see some familiar faces, you do nothing. If you remain a member, you get all the good shit. As like, I've got people in there from 3 years ago, they just keep getting better and they're still paying like bottom dollar. And same for you, right? So the earlier you get in, the better it gets for the cheapest amount. So June 20th, we're relaunching the site. The prices go up. All the things that Joel and I covered. Joel's zone of genius right now. He's focused on growing E-Cinch. Love that for him. He's a wealth of knowledge. So I saw some questions like, do you do full setup and like teach people? Joel does do that, and he probably should do less of it.
I'm trying not to, honestly. If you need a coach, Sarah's your coach.
I love Joel, but I like he's just so giving. And one day when he's bought his island, like he can join and we can teach. But until then, like I'm here to show you how to use E-Cinch. I'm here to answer those questions about like how do you upsell and how do you do like I've got all of that, right? And so if you're interested in guidance on exactly how to get yourself to the point of doing what Joel does and what I've done through Bar Magnolia, join the academy. It's all in there. And so I'm going to drop the link to the back door because it's a wait list right now. So if you join through this link, you can join either monthly or annually, and you'll get all the access to the new experience that we launch on June 20th. You'll be part of one of the first people to enjoy that. And yeah, okay, so let's answer some more questions.
And on that, just real quick, Sarah, I am definitively no longer offering coaching one-on-one like that anymore. We are growing way too fast at E-Cinch. We do have customer success. Danielle, you're looking at her, and I am still here to jump on quick calls and give advice here and there. But one thing, so I'm not doing that so I can free up my time to do more webinars like this. I'm also considering doing like a weekly or a bi-weekly office hours type of thing so that it can be structured to fit in my schedule 1 hour a week or every 2 weeks. To be able to give you guys that opportunity to ask me questions that may be outside of the E-Cinch system, which I'm always happy to answer. And in the Facebook groups, you'll see I'm answering questions all the time. But yeah, and I don't know if I'm still on your site, but take me off if I am, because I am no longer doing coaching. That's Sarah's job. She's amazing at it. She's built a whole ecosystem to support and nurture that. I don't have that. You're not going to get that as much out of me as you are Sarah, because that's her specialty, right? So definitely, I pulled up that member backdoor. You guys go there. If you're not working with Sarah, work with her. Look, I have a coach too. I pay $500 a month for a coach. It's not cheap, but you know what? When I hired my coach, I took E-Cinch from doing about $1,000 a month to sales to doing 15,000 a month to sales to now we're going to be hitting 20, 30, 40, 50,000 a month in sales really, really fast. And I couldn't have done that without my coach because I didn't know what I was doing. Like, yeah, I had Black Lab events, but a service catering business is not a software business. So, you know, if you have business experience, but you're just getting into mobile bars, or even if you've been in mobile bars for a while, but you're struggling, you're obviously not doing something right, because selling alcohol and doing bars is not hard. People like to drink. They're always going to want to drink. Yes, the pandemic sucked, but you know, I got through it. Sarah got through it. So definitely, like, you know, use that resource. Like having a coach it should be mandatory for all new business or for any business people. In fact, I'm now looking for my next coach. So I want to always have a coach. I want to always be learning. I think that's how we better ourselves. All right, shut up. Some more questions. Go, Danielle.
All right. So this question is also from Emily. How do you politely and professionally put pressure on somebody to close?
I tell them, like I did on Sarah's call, I always, regardless if I have a completely open calendar on that day, I always tell the client, look, I don't want to add pressure. So I kind of, you know, I don't like to make it feel like I'm high pressure sales, but, you know, I always say we have one event available on this date. On my nurture email, I've also have it set up to automatically put in their event date and say, hey, look, on your event date of blah, blah, blah. So it looks custom. I only have one spot available. That's how I do it. I'm interested to hear how Sarah does it. What are your thoughts there?
Oh, I'm not a very good salesperson, period. And so if anyone's ever done like a discovery call with me for like coaching, I'm like, look, I'll send you the link. If you want to book, go for it. If not, like, that's cool too. So I probably could use my own kind of sales training. But for me, it's just about making sure that they know, before I got off the call, it's like, look, you know, this stands. If it, you know, if you wait to book, it may not be available. But if you just reach out, just I can tell you at that time as to whether or not it's available or not.
Yeah. And if you have the trailer and your bar is built around the trailer, then it's too, like, I only have one trailer. It's only available once a day and first come, first serve, period. Right. You know, and that's not too pushy, right? But it's still letting them know that there's a sense of urgency there.
Yeah. And I think that's important to remember, is that a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to be like a used car salesman. Like, no, you're serving them. You're providing them with a service. And so when you're on a call, you're giving them the details that are possible. Like, look, I've got exactly one trailer. You know, if you don't book it now, someone else might, like, can't guarantee it. But also not in a way that's like, you know, book now or you'll lose it forever. Just, you know, knowing that, like, you know, I'm here to serve you, but I can't perform miracles. And, you know, that's it.
Yeah. Someone says, what about offering the quote only for X amount of days so that they can review it and gives a sense of urgency to book too? That's a pretty common strategy. And I think that works as well. Now, is it, you know, if someone comes on, you say you got 7 days to book and they come 10 days later and say, hey, I want to book because it's still open, you're still going to book them. But
right.
I've seen that, and I think that's fine too. And it's not too high pressure. But it also and it's hard because I know, you know, the business too well, but if someone used that on me, I'd be like, yeah, right. You'll book me 2 weeks from now if I want to book and you're available. You'll take my money, whatever.
Yeah, false sense of urgency doesn't, like, if anything, if I was going to do something, and I've tried this before and it's worked pretty well, I will give them incentive for fast action, because I like to reward people who make aligned action. So it might be something as simple as like, and hey, if you book today, it's $50 off. You know, we love people who are like eager. The other thing is, if you nurture, like Joel did with me, if you nurture that relationship, you're getting that know, like, and trust factor. And so then it's not, it has, you know, like, they're eager to book, right? They may have like a real reason they're not booking. Like, I got to get my dad to sign off on it because he's the one paying for the wedding. Right. But like, other than that, like, and you can't like strong arm the dad, you know what I mean? Like, so I just be in your authentic self and make it feel good for both of you. So a false sense of urgency, like unless you're raising your prices after 7 days, like why even put that? You know what I mean? Like,
And I agree with that too.
you know,
I
those
think that
timers people think.
if they like you and your branding and your website and like, yeah, that's more what sells it and creates that urgency, is they just really want to work with you because you seem awesome, they seem awesome, it seems like a good match. And that definitely, I think, is probably the best way to go about it, is just make them love you to the point where they just really want to book you and they don't want anyone else to book you, and they're going to get it done as quick as they can. Another thing I do like to do for like trade shows, like if you do any bridal shows or anything like that, is you can put a timestamp and say, hey, look, if you get into contract with us within a week or 2 weeks of this bridal show, we'll give you, X% off or X amount off. And making an offer like that, I think helps a lot. And in fact, when I don't do bridal shows a lot anymore, I haven't done one in a few years, but when I did, that was a strategy I used, and I think it's really good because like you spend a lot of money to be at those bridal shows, so you really want to try to convert as many as you can. And you could even do like, hey, if you want to come under contract with us today, I'll give you 10% off. That's half my service fee. We never give 10% off, never. But that's a special thing. Like if you sign contract with me today, because the cool thing with E-Cinch, you can be at a bridal show with E-Cinch on an iPad and you can be booking people and get them into contracts. And like, you can get it done right there on the spot and create, like you were saying, Sarah, more of like a value incentive with a timestamp. And that's very common marketing 101 right there, right?
Yeah. But I'm going to add one thing. Do not do discounts unless, and anyone who's a member of MVP there, you know what I'm going to say. Do not do discounts, period, unless you are familiar with your pricing, your costs, and your margins. I see oftentimes new mobile bars out there giving 20% off all their services, but their pricing doesn't even give them 20% of profit margin, right? So unless you're familiar with what your margins are, do not do flat. You can do value adds, right? So let's say, if you book today, then we will throw on a free signature cocktail. Well, what does that cost you, right? Like not very much, right? And so, value adds oftentimes are better and they help protect your margin. You do 20% flat off or 10% flat off and you don't know what your margins are, then you might be paying to do that event.
Exactly.
Great advice. Yeah. And you can also have that same iPad when you go to existing events, not just at the shows, at the trade shows. And then you could do the same technique with booking one of the other guests at the event that you're at.
Yeah, but I would have a little, I personally probably wouldn't go that route because I don't want to have a conflict of interest of the client if they were to see me trying to book one of their guests at an event. I don't know how good that looks. I certainly bring business cards to every event and have like flyers and handouts and things like that, because I've gotten a ton of bookings from guests at events, right? That experience our service. It's almost the best way because they get to taste your stuff, see how great you are. And you've pretty much already done the know, like, trust right there at the event. Give them a card, tell them to hit you up. You maybe could do the iPad. I'd be very cautious about that. At a public event, I think that would be okay. But like a private event or a wedding, I don't know that would be so much appropriate. I did on the pricing front, Sarah, and I know you offer a lot of this, but I did write an article recently, everything you need to know about pricing goods and services. Okay. And the one thing, it's not super in depth. In fact, this was the one I emailed you about, wanting to kind of like see if you had any input, and if you do, you can help me add to this. But the main thing, and to Sarah's point, and what I know she preaches and why I love her and her messaging and what she teaches, is you got to know how much your shit costs first. People ask me, how much should I charge? Well, what are you trying to sell? You can't just arbitrarily pull sales out of your butt. You need to know how much one single individual plastic cup costs, and how much does it cost if you buy it in 500 bulk or 1,000 bulk. I know for a fact that a cup roughly costs 8 cents, right? So I'm going to mark it up 50% and charge 16 cents for that cup. But yeah, like you can't just arbitrarily pull pricing out of your butt. Sorry, people, you actually have to do the work. You have to cost it out and do cost analysis. And Sarah can help you with that. And there's a lot of software platforms out there that help with cost analysis, or, just open up the good old Excel spreadsheet and get to costing. That's how I do it. But I love that you said that, Sarah. All right, one more. What's the best question you see on there, Danielle, or anyone who's doing one? Let's do one more question, and then
Yeah, preferably one about the actual software, because I think that's super helpful to get in front of Joel.
Okay, let's see. It's probably, what's the difference between E-Cinch and HoneyBook? Do you need both?
Good one.
So currently we do need both. And if there's current users on, we've had talks about building our own CRM into E-Cinch. We started it. We realized quickly that we didn't have the bandwidth. And this is a lesson for people who are getting started in business. To be successful in a new business, hyper focus on the goal is what you need. And I was getting distracted because we had the opportunity to earn a franchise kind of deal. And I want that deal, and we're still going to work on getting that deal, but I was trying to rush out building a product, and I wasn't going to build it. We weren't going to build it great. So we've paused on building our own CRM. We are right now hiring people, and we've got actually some big meetings this next week with some big investors, and we do want to build out our CRM. But for right now, I do suggest using E-Cinch with a CRM. Now, if you're just getting started, I mean, I did about, what was it? $500,000 in sales with just using E-Cinch, my Apple Calendar, and PayPal without a CRM. And I obviously, I'm very biased. I prefer E-Cinch over a CRM if you're just getting started, because I feel like selling the product's more important than automating emails.
But also, Joel, share that like you didn't have a CRM until like you and I met.
I know, pretty much.
You used E-Cinch and PayPal for years,
And
and
my
it was
calendar.
fine.
And it was just fine. Well, look at this here. I'll even give you guys a little peek behind the curtains here real quick. So the difference is Dubsado. So one thing that we are working on right now for E-Cinch is incorporating payments, so you can accept payments through E-Cinch and contracts. So therefore, you would really only need a Dubsado or a HoneyBook or a Zoho just to have those automated emails in a pipeline, like a lead pipeline, right? So that would be the benefit of having both, is having both the sales aspect and the follow-up automated email aspect. And right now, my preferred platform is Dubsado because it integrates best with E-Cinch. HoneyBook does not, they don't have the APIs to integrate with E-Cinch that well, so it requires more data entry than Dubsado does. Whereas Dubsado, when they save a package, we use a platform, it's a middleware platform called Zapier, which just allows E-Cinch to communicate with Dubsado. And so when someone saves an E-Cinch package, it automatically puts all of the customer data from E-Cinch into Dubsado. So I don't have to do any of that data entry. So that's personally why I like Dubsado over E-Cinch. Zoho integrates well as well. Once we have payments and contracts in E-Cinch, then again, a CRM would only need to be used for automated emails. You could also probably use MailChimp. I think they have workflows now and things like that, Danielle was saying. So there would be a ton of different platforms that you could use, but to the point of not having a CRM. So here's my December of 2019. And if you see all of these little blue points are meetings, but all of these brown points are events, I did $99,000 in sales this month without a CRM. But basically my calendar is kind of like my CRM. So I'd put event details in here so that I had it all. I would put, the production report link and the proposal links in here and kind of build this out in the notes to be like all of the client information. And when I took meetings, I would open this up and put my notes right in here. So I did have one central place that I'm keeping all of the information. I have whatever this attachment is here. I'm not even sure. Oh, so that's my rental order. So it's important to still be organized, but you don't necessarily have to have a CRM if you don't mind sending emails, right? Manually. So when you get to my side, I can't believe I didn't have a CRM here because I probably would have worked way less. Like I was probably working 50, 60 hours a week this month. Whereas now to do $100,000 a month, I work 3 hours a week. Again, I only do the sales. I don't have to go do production or anything like that. And even now my sales managers that I'm currently training are taking it all off my plate. So for my event business is essentially in the next couple of weeks will just be passive income for me. And I'll just keep an eye on the bank account, make sure I'm not getting stolen from. And that's it. But yeah, this is totally doable. It's a lot going on. Now that I look at this, I'm just like, whoa, how did I handle that? But we did. So there you go. So yeah, the difference, E-Cinch is completely about selling your products and services. Dubsado, Honeybook, Zoho, the CRMs are more about managing the communication between you and the client. Fair enough, right, Sarah? Would you say that's a good explanation on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the CRM is really, and I would add to that, it's not even just E-Cinch with like your CRM, you also need a project management system, because you know, like you gotta find a way to keep track of all the to-dos for all the events and the right timeline and all of that. So
I need that too. I don't even have that, Sarah. Oh my God.
And you've got staffing with Homebase and then your website.
Yeah.
There's lots of
Yeah.
different tools.
That's true. I
You
have
definitely have a project management system. It may just not be digital.
yeah, it may be in my brain still. So I have, and just to let everyone know the tools I use to operate my business: E-Cinch, Squarespace for my website, Dubsado for my CRM, QuickBooks to keep my books, Homebase for all my staffing. I post shifts in here. This is how we do all the staffing. They can do payroll through Homebase as well. Once you get a certain amount of staff, it becomes cheaper to go to a big company like ADP because they don't charge me per employee. They only charge me for each employee I'm running a payroll for. So for me, that's important because I have like 80 people on my payroll, but usually in a given month, like 10 or 12 of those 80 will actually work for me on any given month.
We're
So
also big enough where ADP has HR services, and that's also.
and yeah, and I have ADP plus HR so that they do my employee handbook and they do all that. But that's pretty much, you know, my entire, what operates my business is from this app here, ADP, all the way over to E-Cinch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different applications to run my business. And some people will say, man, you must be paying a lot in software. Yeah, but you know, I'm happy to pay hundreds of dollars a month for software to live in Colorado, to work a couple hours a week, and to make 6 figures. Like, so, you know, like, to me,
I love that you mentioned that, because honestly, people oftentimes will say, I don't know, E-Cinch is really expensive, because Honeybook and Dubsado, they're like $34 a month, something like that, right? Here's what if E-Cinch saves you 1 hour of time a month, it is paid for itself, right? Because you better be worth more than $50 an hour, right? Because you're building an empire here. You're a CEO. What CEO out there doesn't make $50 an hour? You know what I mean? If it saves you 1 hour, it is paid for itself.
Yeah, and guys, we are looking to eventually launch a more affordable entry level pricing, like kind of a pay as you go. We are thinking about like for every saved proposal submission, you pay $10 until you get to the point where the monthly or yearly subscription would be, you know, cheaper. So we are sensitive to the fact that you know, we know that it's not the cheapest platform in the around, but I stand by the fact that it does the most for you, and to be able to have your sales solidified in a system, transparent on your site, not doing proposals, not spending all that back and forth time before you've qualified a lead, like pre-qualifying leads. It's worth the investment. And then just what you get out of these webinars and me and Sarah and things like that. You know, it's definitely, in my extremely biased opinion, it's completely worth it. But, you know, as we grow, there's a certain thing, like, you know, with us starting this business, and someone posted on one of the bar groups the other day, hey, is there a platform that I don't have to pay monthly or yearly for, that I can just buy one time? And I'm like, that doesn't exist. And everyone was like, no, dude, you're crazy. That doesn't exist anymore. It's not the 90s, blah, 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 blah. Because with cloud-based software, it's not like we build this platform and we're done, guys. You have to maintain bugs. You have to keep building. You have to keep innovating. Like, you know, I've already put $250,000 into building this platform out, and we're now raising $2 million so that I can hire 9 more people to continue building and make it something that's special and awesome. So, you know, we priced the way we did because I literally needed to be bringing in a certain amount of money per client to keep the business growing. So like I said, we are going to be working on some pricing models, not probably anytime in the too soon. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have the pay as you go. But one thing we did just change, try to make it easy on people to at least see if they think it's a good fit, is you no longer have to pay to set yourself up. So you can come to our site, smash any of the get started for free buttons, create your E-Cinch account. Now your account won't be live on the internet until you pay, but you can at least go in there, start looking at templates, start picking out packages, start building, and, take a week or 2 weeks to build, and you're not paying for that time to get it set up. And then once you're ready to publish and you want your packages that are so customers can use it and you can use it and save actual quotes, then you'll have to pay. But I would say, hey, at least go check it out, peek around, create a free account, see if it's something that you think would be a good fit for you. I know it's been huge for me. Like I said, I launched it the same year I moved out of state. I grew my business 68% the year that I launched it. I was hoping to maintain my sales that year. I didn't think I would grow the business moving away from it. And I did. And then ever since, I've continued to grow, minus 2020 because of COVID, and LA was completely shut down. But we bounced back from COVID and have been just continuing to grow. And I sit here in Colorado and enjoy working on my new passion, which is E-Cinch, and I don't have to worry about Black Lab. The other thing about growing a business, and this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll let Sarah kind of give her goodbyes, but you have to have systems in place to grow a team. So without systems, you can't hire a sales manager and train them to have everything in their head like you do when you're first opening and you're the owner and it's all just up in your head. And that's fine when it's just you. But if you're running a business that's built just around you, you're never going to grow a big business. You have to grow a business that's built around systems that other people can come in and take off your plate. So you as the owner are focused on one thing: growth. There's a book called Sell Like Crazy. Love that book. I don't know if you've read it. Lee put me onto it, Sarah. This guy, Sabre Subri, and this is what I'll leave you with. He says 80% of your business doesn't make you money. Only 20% of what you do in your business actually brings in new customers and grows the business. And as a founder and a CEO of a company, you need to do everything you can in the early days to get the 80% off of your plate so that you're only focusing on the 20%, the stuff that makes you money. Someone said, what book again? Sell Like Crazy by Sabre Subri. And it also has workbooks that come along with it and all of that stuff. It's pretty cool. It's not for event specific. It's just a business book to read, and it can help in any business endeavor. But the main thing I did for Black Lab when we started to grow and started to grow fast was I got rid of the crap jobs, that I didn't even like to do, like batching in the kitchen. Like, who wants to be in a hot ass kitchen getting all sticky with juices and batching? Like, that's all you have to do is write down your recipes and give it to someone, like, and batch with them 2 or 3 times, show them how it's done, and then boom, that's off your plate. Going to run and buy ice and buy ingredients and supplies, all that prep stuff, that was the first thing I outsourced. Just not outsourced, but hired, brought in a guy, paid him part-time as we needed help, as we had events, come in and do that work. And that was like a huge thing, because then now, instead of me doing that while the guy's batching, what am I doing? I'm off doing Facebook posts. I'm off looking to see if there's a networking event I can get Black Lab involved in. I'm trying to market and grow the business. So
one thing,
we've got way over.
Quick thing that I would just add to that, Joel, is you need to make sure that your margins can support handling people to do those things, to delegate those tasks.
Oh yeah, and that's something that Sarah is all about. Like, she's going to set you up to grow your business. And I know you say, like, you've set people up to start with like at least a 50% margin, because you know in your mind that margin is going to dwindle down to 30% once you're scaled out and have all the people in the places that they need to be. Right. But that's a great point, Danielle. All right, Sarah, wrap us up. Give us your salutations. We've given these people an extra half hour of our valuable time, and I love you guys all, but take it away.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, my own personal experience with E-Cinch, it didn't have nearly as many bells and whistles as it has now, guys. That has all been through a lot of the founders that have given awesome feedback to Joel. And when you do join E-Cinch, you become part of the family. He listens to all the members, all the people sending feedback. And my sales increased 20%. Like overnight. And I did nothing other than use this software. So, I teach within Mobile Bev Pros, my favorite way to use it, which changes all the time as new features come out. I love that PDF thing, Joel. I'm actually gonna definitely start recommending the PDF to clients that use E-Cinch. And if you found any and all of this interesting, but you want to go deeper, then that's how I can support this community. And so again, the backdoor link if you guys want to join the membership. Otherwise, Joel, if you do more of these, if you want to do one of these a month, let me know. I'll put it on
Let's
the
do
MBA
one a month.
calendar.
Yeah, I want to
Okay,
get going like
yeah.
one a month for sure. Like
Should I
that's
talk to Danielle about this? Because we can just literally get it on the MVP.
Yeah, let's get it on the books. And to anybody who's still on the call, if you have topics that you want to propose that we do for future webinars, email those over to me. The email is help, HELP, at E-Cinch, E-Cinch, it's such a tongue twister, e-cinch.com. So if you have topics, email those to me. Sarah, you and I can go back and forth to get stuff on the books. Let's do it.
I'm
Awesome.
putting that in the chat now, help at e-cinch.com. That's to Danielle. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you guys all being here. Don't forget, sign up Sarah's Backdoor, $159 a month. I mean, that is such a value. I don't know how many of you are not in this program if you're not. So get that done. Download the automation guide we sent you. Super thankful for you all for enjoying coming here and listening and hopefully enjoying what we've brought. And you know, round of applause to everyone who attended today for taking that initiative to grow your business, to put in the time to learn new stuff. That's awesome. And I can't wait to the next one. So we're going to do one a month now, guys. Woo! I love it. All right.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody. Good
Till
luck.
next time.
Woo-hoo. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers.
All right. Bye-bye.